Well, having conversation last week. So the big thing on automations, and I love automations. You use a lot of automations as well, but I still believe that a really good sales rep will be automations. And I think I can say this, I reckon that fitness business owners are becoming weaker because they rely so much on automations and not actually on being a decent sales rep with really good follow-up. And I hope that it doesn't get worse, but I do hope with our conversation today that those who listen and take action will act differently. But mate, you told me this story because you didn't have automations for a lot of the time in TBC at the start. Hey, there's no such thing back in
for like the first 4 years, we didn't have automations,
and it's still fine, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
But you said, because you had a bit of a different flow to me with your double dial text, which was absolutely amazing. I wish I had you as a mentor back when I was doing sales. But talk to us about that, about how you would map out like a 10 to 15 minute flow of calling your leads and texting. Because it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, for me, it's all about like being efficient with my time and trying to multitask as much as I can, right? So for me, I was always big on the double dial.
You love it. You love it.
So what I would do is I would call the lead. Let's say they didn't answer. I would hang up. I would call them again. They wouldn't answer. I'd leave the voice message. And then I would dial the next number and have it ringing. And while it was ringing, I was sending the text to the person that I've just called. Because I always had headphones in my ears, right? So I could type and take notes and that sort of stuff. So while it was dialing, I was texting the person. And again, because the texts were templated, it was just change the first name, maybe change a little bit in the body. It allowed me to get through my lead list really quickly and efficiently. So again, it sounds like a really small thing, but if it takes 20 seconds to send that text message or 30 seconds to send that text message, when you're looking at, 10, 15, 20 leads at a time that you're calling, it adds up quickly.
Yeah. And you were saying you would send the same text each day. It was just copy and paste.
Just copy and pasted. Yeah. So a text in the morning and a text at night.
Yeah. Simple. I used to do the same text, but actually, I'm not going to say what we did because it's worse than what Brad did. So just do what Brad did. It's better.
Yeah. So we would send the text in the morning was pretty simple. It was like, hey, Jimmy, Brad here from, TBC, just giving you a call in regards to your application for the 6-week challenge. Is there a good time to reach you today? ? Simple. At night, very similar message, except it was like, feel free to use this link to book a time that suits you.
Yeah.
And just a booking link. Yeah. Don't complicate it.
And when the automations came into your life, big shout out to Jimmy Buchanan, the main man, is how did that adjust what you did somewhat? Because I think
it didn't.
About that.
It didn't. And this is where a lot of people they stop doing what they're doing because automations can do some of it. What I did worked. So the automations became a supplement, if you like, to what I was doing. That. So it was an add-on, not an instead of. So it was just sending the extra text message and email each day to add to the nurture, because everything that I sent came from my personal mobile phone, right? So it was personal for me. They could apply at any stage and straight through to me. So when we got the one text message and the email through automations, it just added an extra layer for us.
And did you always do sales off your personal mobile?
Always off a personal phone.
Oh, I got a work number, hey, because I hated people calling me when I didn't want them to call me.
Well, for me, it was like, it was my business and it was always me. And then it just sort of stuck. It was convenient. So I just used my work phone.
Well, I think the big difference between you and I is you love sales. You love sales. So you would like, you told me stories of like, you close sales at 9:15 at night. When I was like, if someone called me at 9:15 at night, I'm not about that life. So I wanted the separation, but thus you are much better at sales. You close more sales, high ticket, stuff like that, different mindsets.
And we laugh, right? Because there's places that you shouldn't close sales. Like I closed a sale in the birthing suite with my wife for someone to join our Inner Circle program, right?
Salesman closing.
Most wives could go crazy. Like my wife kind of sees the humor because it's like just a story that I can tell. I enjoy it. So that's what I would do.
Mate, you go sales all the time. I remember when I think you were flying over to Sydney. Was it when we caught up, or where were we flying? Where did we catch up recently?
Just
Adelaide.
recently was Adelaide.
And you had Wi-Fi on there, and you're like, I reckon I
Wi-Fi
can
on the
close the
airplane.
sale.
Wi-Fi on the
Yeah.
airplane was amazing. The first time I've
You
ever
should
had
try.
it. It was great. I couldn't do anything. It's worked.
Try and do it on the way to Melbourne. See if
Yeah.
you can knock someone over.
Get that Qantas plane. Get that Qantas
Imagine
flight.
just sitting there, just try to close, and people would get so pissed if you did it.
Why do you just, again? It's just I was still
mate.
messaging clients and doing DMs and all that sort of stuff that you, especially in a sales based role and looking after clients, if you can have 2 hours of uninterrupted time, you actually get a lot of work done. So on the plane, I couldn't actually call people unless it was through Facebook, but it gave me 2 hours to send DMs and send text messages. So I was really efficient during that time.
Yeah, 100%. I love chatting to you when you're over, because I was like, you on the plane? But anyways, let's bridge through. So we're going to give big congratulations to Tori. So she got 88 leads, which leads generally isn't the issue. But what you helped with her in sales, it's been incredible. She's closed over 20 sales since she chatted to you.
Yeah,
just on
crazy,
like
right?
basic follow-up principles, and she's closing over the phone as well.
And I think the big thing is, like, people want it to be complicated, so they have an excuse not to close sales, right? So it's like, oh, it's this complicated system, getting too many leads, I can't follow them up. It's like, well, hang on, let's just bring it, like, tear it down and let's rebuild it from scratch. What is the minimal effective dose that gets the biggest outcome? It's like, block in time to call your leads, block in time to text your leads, open up time in your calendar to book consultations. Like, let's make it as simple as possible and block it out in your calendar so you can be consistent with it.
Yeah,
That's the big thing.
Yeah, I think as well is like being able to like handle like big lead volume. There's people who want a lot of leads, but can't handle the volume. So say Tori, first week we turned on our ads, she got 30 leads and was like a little bit chaotic to be able to handle that. So then we just wound it down. She gets about 13 to 16 leads a week, and she's in her zone now where she's just in flow, everything's going well. So you can definitely get too many leads. I don't think there's any such thing as too many leads, but unless you can handle it. If you can handle it, go nuts. If you can't handle it and do the good follow-ups, you might as well not get the leads, because you can't contact them. Correct,
definitely. And this is where people have this expectation where it's like, oh, I need X amount of leads per week. Well, and it's fine to have those targets, but if you can't nurture them and book them in for consultations, you're better off getting less leads, servicing them well, and signing them up, because people don't want leads. Leads are useless. People want sales, right? Yeah. You can have 1,000 leads. If you close no one, you're still going bankrupt. You want sales. And to get the sales, you need to get them onto calls or get them in for consultations. So we need to look at what is your capability of actually following these leads up to book appointments. And then that will dictate how many leads you can handle per week.